Hi guys, it's Patricia and today is Tester Tuesday, where I review 3 Scentsy scents from the new release section of the Fall and Winter Scentsy catalog, and you guys decide by voting. So stick around. At the end of the video we will be voting for round 3. Now, as I film this video, we have no power, although we do have a generator that helps give us some power. So thanks to any of my waxy friends that reached out during the hurricane. It was actually not too bad of a hurricane. We have experienced another hurricane about 15 years ago that was a lot more, ended with a lot more destruction, I would say, but we're just happy that our house is intact, everybody's fine, there's no damage. So we'll make it through the power outage, so I have no idea. Hopefully I'll be able to upload this on time because we have no internet. So anyway, let's get into the results for this week. So I had you guys vote on the scents last week, and it was a little bit interesting because the week before there was 3 scents that just took off and they were battling almost neck and neck. This week, 5 out of the 6 scents were pretty much getting lots and lots of votes. And I kind of realized that the Be Merry and the Butter Pecans often will be down in votes because some people would have already tried them. So Butter Pecan, was the last place scent, but the other scents were really battling it out. And how did things go? Well, in first place, we have a dark purple kind of wax, and it is Huckleberry Wreath, and this one had 23% of the vote. In second place, we have the dark brown wax. You can see I'm almost gone through this whole bar, and it is Brownie batter, and that one had 20% of the vote. And in third place, kind of a soft brownish orange. This is a Maple Apple Bourbon, and this had 18% of the vote. So the order, in case you're interested, it went Huckleberry Wreath, then Brownie Batter, then Maple Apple Bourbon, then we had Grapefruit and Grenadine, Fiddle Leaf Fig, and at the very bottom, Butter Pecan. So let's talk about our first place scent this week. It is Huckleberry Wreath. This one is in the new release section of the catalog, obviously, but it's in the fresh category. So they put it in the fresh category, and sometimes with certain scents, and this one might be one of them, you kind of have to pick and choose where you're going to put it, because from the scent notes you could also see that it could be a fruity scent, or it could be a tree-like scent or a wood scent. But let me read you the scent description. It is, for the holidays or any days, crimson red currant and a handful of huckleberries brighten a wreath of frosted fur. So on cold, when you first smell this, it's probably light to medium in intensity, but what I get is I get the huckleberries, and huckleberries is a derivative of blueberries. Kind of. That's what I understand anyway. I don't think I've ever had a huckleberry myself. To me, it also reminds me of blackberry, but you could also get that currant, and the currant is a little bit similar to the cassis note in Be Merry, and one of my subscribers kind of pointed that out, and then now I'm kind of seeing the links. But basically you get that currant and the huckleberry quite a bit, and then you kind of get the fir. And the frosted fir to me reminds me of like a tree with a sage-like component, kind of like an herbal dusty sage. And dusty, kind of like a frosty. I don't know how to explain how that smells, but a little bit volatile, not too bad. I usually don't love sage scents, but this reminds me of a frosted sage, which combines with the tree note. Works really nice. I would say a little bit more fruity than tree note to me, and I think the frosted part gives it the fresh aspect. So yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of another 2 scents if you mix them together, and I'll tell you here at the end about that one. But how did it do on performance? So what I did was I put it in 2 different areas. I took 2 cubes and put it in a 25 watt bulb warmer in my room here. And in my room, strength and throw is about 7.5. And I left it going 24 hours over 3 days. So I found this one pretty steady. It didn't really kind of start high and go low. I mean, it obviously did. It did dip, but it seemed to hold its own, like a pretty good intensity for a while, and then kind of gradually lost scent. Now, with the middle 3 cubes here, I put them downstairs in my son's room, which has his bedroom and adjoining bath. 2 full-size warmers there. One is an element warmer 12 watt, and the other is a 25 watt bulb warmer. So I put 1.5 cubes at each of those warmers. And down there, strength of throw seemed a little bit lower. I would say 7. And it could be because it's 1.5 cubes in each warmer instead of 2. I don't know. And I left that one going 33 hours over 3 days. Again, pretty consistent, pretty steady. I would say it did fairly well. Now, what this reminds me of, I said, if you like scents like this, a little bit reminded me of if you took very snowy spruce and mixed it with blueberry rush. A little bit like that. But to me, the blueberry rush is toned way, way down. So blueberry rush is a super intense fragrance. So take maybe 1 cube of very snowy spruce and maybe like half a cube of blueberry rush and put them together, and then add like a little special splash of the sage, and that's, I think, what you would get. And I think you could probably warm this scent anywhere in your home. I think you could even warm it in the bathroom if that's where you wanted to warm it in. It's probably strong enough for an open concept layout. I did not try it there, but I think it would do okay. It just might be a little bit of a low to medium fragrance there. But yeah, you could even take this if you wanted to change it up a little bit. You could add Be Merry to it. You could add any tree note, like ice pine would do well. I think you could probably even soften this up with like a vanilla fragrance if you wanted to try that. But yeah, this one here, the scent was pretty good. I would say medium for me. The intensity was about a medium for me, and the duration was probably a little bit above average for me. So I would say this is a pretty solid scent. Will not be a repurchase for me just because the scent is not really one that I love, but I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this. I'm not sure if it's going to be an extremely popular scent, but I think the people that like it will really like it a lot. Okay, let's move on. We're going to talk about scent number 2, and it's Brownie Batter. Now, this one here, I feel like I should whiz over it for a couple of reasons. On cold, this one is very, very strong, and obviously it's in the new release section, and it's in the bakery category. Now for me, fragrance appeal on cold is about a 7. But on warm, it goes way, way up. I would say 9 out of 10. Now, the reason I feel like I should whiz through this scent is this is a chocolate-based scent, and some people hate chocolate-based scents. So you're either going to really like the scent or not. But let's go over the scent description. It basically says, rich, heavenly notes of baked brownie, cocoa powder, and vanilla bean will set the stage for some serious cravings. And so we have the scent notes of baked brownie, cocoa powder, and vanilla bean. And this one reminds me of, once you put it in the warmer, it reminds me of a molten chocolate cake, or also known as a lava cake. If you've ever made that or had that, basically it's a cake that they underbake so the middle is gooey and the outside is cooked. So the baked brownie part reminds me of the baked chocolate cake part, and then there's like a gooiness, a little bit of a gooiness, not a lot of that like molten gooey stuff in the middle. And then in my family, when we make molten chocolate cakes, we often have a little bit of vanilla ice cream, and sometimes you just want a little bit of touch of that vanilla ice cream on your spoon, and it just kind of softens the chocolate intensity. Later in the warming, that's where the vanilla creeps in. It just kind of comes later in the warming, and it softens the chocolate. So it's like at the end of your plate, you're kind of scooping up all the vanilla ice cream, and you still have a little bit of chocolate on your spoon. And that's what this reminds me of. And they could even called it molten chocolate cake, but maybe brownie batter is a little bit more appealing. I don't know. And I often notice that scents that have letters like early in the alphabet seem to sell a little bit better than scents later in the alphabet. I sometimes notice that it's all concentrated early in the alphabet. And the sun is coming out. Anyway, one thing about this scent is when I put it in the warmers, I decided to put it in my open concept area, which I use 4 cubes worth. And when I had it downstairs, I had this door closed, and you could smell brownie batter over the Huckleberry Wreath that I just told you about. You could smell brownie batter coming through the walls and doors. So let's get into the performance of how this one did. Strength and throw, downstairs. On warm, I would say it was probably in my big area, 8.5, maybe even 9. I feel like it really traveled. So strength might have been like 8.5, but it felt like the throw was just incredible. However, I just want to point out, I have warmed German chocolate cake in the past, and it was not as strong as German chocolate cake. So if you've tried both, or if you've tried German chocolate cake, just know I found German chocolate cake a little bit stronger than this. But this is kind of similar to, like, you know, from Yankee Candle, what's it called? Chocolate layer cake from Bath and Body Works. Maybe a little bit similar to like Hot Fudge Sundae, something like that. A little more chocolatier than Hot Fudge Sundae, but I put this in and I left it going down in my big area just one day. So it was a 16.5-hour day, but just one day because it starts and then it dies. Some chocolate scents I find are very intense to start out and then they kind of die and crash a little bit. Now as this warms, like I said, the vanilla creeps in. But it's a very soft vanilla with that chocolate. It's very, very nice. I like it. A nice soft chocolate towards the end. In terms of comparisons to Hug in a Mug, I'd say Hug in a Mug is a lot more creamier and softer on the chocolate. This is more dense chocolate and more intense to start out. Now the other 2 cubes I took and put it in my daughter's room. Now the tricky part is it's still going there. I think we're on about hour 20, so 2 cubes in a 25-watt beacon warmer, small, medium-sized bedroom. I would say maybe even, yeah, medium. The problem is we lost power overnight, and I know when it died, and then now we're on generator power, so it's still going. My husband's probably going to kill me if he knows I'm warming Scentsy during using up the generator, but anyway, don't tell. So I think with her room being a smaller room, you're definitely going to notice it lasts a little bit longer than an open concept area. And I must say, after I had it going in her bedroom about 3 or 4 hours, her bedroom's upstairs at one corner of the house, and I could smell it downstairs in the open concept layout. And it was taking over like a pumpkin spice scent. So yeah, interesting, huh? So yeah, I was going to say, if you like scents like Mocha Doodle or Hug in a Mug, you may want to pick this up because it's another chocolate inspired scent, but a little bit more intense chocolate. If you like chocolate layer cake from Yankee or something like a hot fudge sundae from Bath and Body Works. This, one thing about this scent, if the sales aren't great, it's because some people hate chocolate. But the people that love this scent are going to drive the sales up. So there's going to be people that are absolutely in love with this scent. And one thing I want you to remember is if you've received this scent and you don't care for it, this scent is a terrific mixer. You could mix it with peppermint. You could mix it with an orange. You could mix it with a vanilla. You could mix it with a sugar cookie. You could mix it with a chocolate, like a breakfast blender, coffee treat. You could mix this with a strawberry if you wanted, chocolate covered strawberries. What else do I have written down? You could soften it up with something like vanilla mint, cherry clove chutney, because chocolate and cherries go together. Yeah, lots of different options for mixing with this one. So that is where it's going to really excel as well. You could warm this in an open concept layout for sure, and any other area that you want a nice strong scent. Probably best suited for people that change out their scents a little more frequently. Probably not the greatest for a bathroom because it's just weird to have chocolate in a bathroom. And I think the strongest selling point to this would be if you are not a baker but you want to fake someone out, then pick up brownie batter, purchase your brownies, pick this up and warm it for a bit and then turn it off, and it's just going to give that hint of chocolatiness in your house. And whoever comes over is going to think you baked the brownies. So on this, for me, scent I really, really liked. Intensity was terrific, and longevity was pretty, like on the lower, below average for me. So will this be a repurchase for me? Yes, I really, really like it. And also I'm interested in mixing it. So I'm going to do a little bit of experimentation with brownie batter. Okay, scent number 3. I feel like I'm rambling this week. Scent number 3 is Maple Apple Bourbon. And this one sneaked in because there was a lot of battling it out for it, which is going to be coming in 3rd place. On cold, I would say this is about a medium intensity fragrance. It's in the new release category, obviously, and they placed it in the spice category. The scent description for Maple Apple Bourbon is juicy red apple and rich maple get in the holiday spirit with a splash of bourbon. So we have red apple, and we have maple, and we have bourbon. And I would say this is a really nice mix of all 3 things, although the bourbon to me doesn't really jump out as liquor. It more reminds me of a warmth and a little bit of, like, adds a complexity to it and kind of a depthness to the scent. It's really hard to describe, but you can smell the apple. To me, it smells something like a red apple of some sort. I don't know if it's a Mac apple. I don't think, because Mac apples are really, really strong in a scent. So probably some other type of apple that's red. The maple. Normally, I'm not a big maple fan. Maple syrup. There's a reason I really don't like it, and I probably don't want to give you the reason because it might, you know, it's not the nicest thing to hear, but this scent reminds me of something besides maple syrup. It reminds me of almost like this maple spread that my Uncle John, that I mentioned in the last video, he has, and it's like he spreads it on toast. It has a maple aroma and taste, but it's like got a creamy aspect to it. So that's kind of what this reminds me of. And like I said, the bourbon is there, and it just kind of gives it, it almost gives it like that candle smell. When you go and smell out candles in the store, and this is a very, like a smell that I would smell in some of those candles, like from DW Home or something like that. It's very rich. It's got a nice blend of the 3 things. It smells like something you'd warm out in the wilderness, like a lumberjack might warm this. One thing about this is it's definitely a lingering scent. So you can warm this and actually turn it off and you're still going to get a lot of scent. And that actually plays into the performance of it. So let's get into the performance of this scent. So I actually warmed this in 3 spots. The first spot I warmed it in was my son's room, my smallest bedroom in the home, 1 cube rainbow colors of the rainbow warmer. I had it going there 38 hours over 3 days. Strength and throw between 7.5 and 8. So fairly strong and fairly long lasting for this. Did very, very well. In my mudroom and laundry room, which has a mini warmer, I put 1 cube in there. Strength and throw there, 7.5 to 8. And I had it going there 40 hours over 4 days. So incredible performance in a mini warmer. And in my bonus room, I put 2 cubes in. It was a little bit softer there, I would say 7. And I left it going 35 hours over 4 days. And one thing I want to say is in my bonus room, for some strange reason, this scent seemed a lot creamier there in its quality. I don't really know why. I have a 25 watt bulb warmer in there and it is a really good warmer, but the room is quite large. So it actually makes me want to kind of mix this with a vanilla, like 1 cube of this and 1 cube of vanilla, because I really liked it in the bonus room. I like that creamy aspect quite a bit. So I would probably say you could warm this anywhere. I don't know if you'd want to warm it in a bathroom because it is kind of a food-based scent, but the strength is there and the longevity is there. This is a nice solid scent. I think it's going to do well. I think it's going to return, and you could mix a lot of different things with this. Like I said, you could mix a sugar cookie or vanilla if you want to tone down some of those notes. You could mix a Johnny Appleseed if you want to bump up the apple a little bit. You could try caramel apple craze with this. There's lots of wiggle room for this, so I think it's going to be a good scent. So scent for me, this was a pretty good scent. I liked it a lot better than I thought I would. The strength was definitely a good, solid, above average intensity strength for me. And longevity, again, a nice long-lasting scent with lingering possibilities. So this one is a really good scent, and I think it's going to do well and probably return, but we shall see. Okay, so let's get into drawing for this week's 6 scents. Now, if you've been paying attention, we have 3 scents that didn't make it from round 1 and 3 scents that didn't make it from round 2. So guess what? Those are going in the bag. And I have a little twist I'm hoping for next week, so we'll get into that. If you're new to my channel, basically what I want you to do is pick 2 different scents from the 6 that I'm going to draw. Put them in the comments section below. Hopefully I will get this video uploaded on Tuesday like I normally do. If I do, you have all Tuesday to vote and a little bit of Wednesday morning. Always check the pinned comment and I'll put if voting is closed. I should mention that we had 176 votes this week, so 4 off the record. And I think I received like 8 or 10 votes after the fact. So we would have been well over the record. So just try to get in on Tuesday if you can. That's the safest time to vote. And if you can't comment on YouTube videos, find my Instagram post. It's Patricia Gates, and I will collect your votes that way. And let's see. I just will randomly see what ones are going to be in what order. So your first scent this week is Blood Orange Spice. Scent number 2, Candied Cranberry Pecan. I'm laughing because I'm thinking they're going to go in alphabetical order. We'll see. Scent number 3, Fiddle Leaf Fig. Scent number 4, Grapefruit and Grenadine. Scent number 5, Butter Pecan. And scent number 6 is Be Merry. So again, to review this week, you have Blood Orange Spice, Candied Cranberry Pecan, try to say that one 3 times fast, Fiddle Leaf Fig, Grapefruit and Grenadine, Butter Pecan, and Be Merry. Anyway, thanks for spending the last few minutes with me. I hope something helped you with this video. If you're new, please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video.